What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
AFC South, AFC South, AFC. Are you ready for the fight? Nighty night, lights out, no Tyson. About to be the clash of the Titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a Jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
Hello. Welcome back to the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Matthew Briggs, because Sam is too busy taking her hormones shots for her transitioning into Samuel, so she cannot make it tonight. But representing the Jaguars, we got everybody's favorite Josh Allen, including Sam's mom. What's going on, Josh?
What's up? I'm glad to be back on the show.
Yes, sir. And then representing the other 0-2 team, we got Mr. Josh Sr.
We're not 0-2. We're barely 0-2.
0-2.
Same for the Jags. We're barely 0-2. That's right. Nobody's beaten us by 10 points yet. We're barely 0-2.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you can't spell Mayo without O. Representing the Titans, we got Mr. Kennedy. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
Well, before we jump into why we're here, just a little quick NFL news. First up, there's some Mahomes drama. Apparently, he is being unfaithful to his wife and cheating on her with some hookers in Arizona. Josh, are you
playing?
No, that's apparently that's what they got, receipts and everything. You haven't seen the TikToks,
bro? No, man.
What's up with Kansas City and these celebrity problems and Taylor Swift and all this?
It's because they're winning. Same thing with the Patriots. I mean, Aaron Hernandez probably wouldn't be a big case if he wasn't on the Patriots. So
yeah.
Is anybody surprised? Like, Josh, are you surprised?
Yeah, a little bit, man. Like, I know probably a lot less of these guys are saints than people want to believe, in their personal lives. But that, I mean, that's pretty wild. Now, I would still be surprised, but I'd be less surprised if it was just like he had an affair. Like, still wrong, but like with like prostitutes, like that's you're sort of 3 levels deep into debauchery at that point. But I'm a little surprised. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a little surprised. Like, I don't know.
Josh, knowing how his wife acts sometimes, and now she's pregnant with her third child, do you feel bad for the woman?
I feel bad. Nobody deserves to have their spouse be unfaithful to them. Like that, nobody. That's never a thing I'd wish on anybody. Brittany Mahomes, she's weird. She's annoying. But no, I do feel sorry for her. I don't, it's not, regardless of how she is, he knew how she was when he married her. So, you can't just go, oh, she's super annoying. Now I'm going to cheat on you. Like, that's just stupid. But I've always said money and fame, they don't really change who you are. They just intensify who you already are. Right. So if you don't have a good moral compass, if you're not really grounded on what you believe are right and wrong, like, money's just going to intensify the fact that you're not really grounded in some sort of morality to keep you from doing things you ought not do. So, but I will say, this is the last thing I'll say, people that are quick to judge and sort of wag your finger, understand that like those sorts of things, that can happen to a lot of folks a lot easier than they think, right? Like, so this shouldn't be something where you are dunking on Patrick Mahomes and saying, oh, he's a terrible person. Look what a scumbag he is. If anything, this should make you take stock of your own relationships and say, hey, how can I safeguard myself
Right.
to make sure I don't end up in that scenario? But anyway.
Well, this one's for Josh Sr. because it was his former college quarterback, Bryce Young, being benched for the Red Rocket himself. Josh, Sr., what do you think about this, brother?
As a Bryce fan, Bama fan, this is good for him. I know they said he's maybe upset about being benched, but they haven't given him a team, gave him a line, gave him any weapons to succeed in the league in 2 years. You had one coach last year that got fired in the middle of the season, and it seems like the new coach now is just as ass as the previous one. And they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So I mean, what's the point of keep sticking them out there? And the guy's 5'8" and keep getting what turnovers, getting sacked. I mean, he's getting embarrassed. And at this point, they're making him out of a bus if they keep playing him until they get some weapons on their field for him and offensive line.
Okay, so Kendall, this one to you. With Baker Mayfield and now Sam Darnold having success coming from that Carolina organization, it kind of seems like it is Carolina, right? Or you think it's still Bryce Young?
I would think that it would maybe be Carolina. I think, maybe Bryce just needs to be put into a better system, like how Malik left and went to Green Bay and they won the game and he threw a touchdown pass. And I mean, I just think he needs to be in a new system. He doesn't have any wide receiver. He doesn't have an offensive line. I think that's my biggest thing. Just see how he does on a better team. See what you can, first of all, see what you can get for him. I don't know if it's, too late now because he's been bad for 2 seasons now. He was bad last year. And so I think, just put him in the right system and maybe, with an offensive minded coach, wide receivers, and maybe you'll see that Alabama, prodigy that we all saw when he was at Bama.
Okay.
I do want to mention. My bad, Josh. I do want to mention. He did have the weapons. He had the guys before they traded him. They traded up. They traded players to get him to trade up. They traded DJ Moore. CMC was traded, I think, a year before. DJ was traded. He had the guy. He would have had the guys there to go along with the guy from South Carolina, the receiver. It's pretty good.
I forgot. Yeah.
In the same way that nobody deserves to be cheated on by their spouse, nobody deserves to have to play for the Carolina Panthers under David Tepper. That guy is the absolute worst. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff behind the scenes. Like last year, there was a restaurant that posted something critical of the Panthers, and he went and he tried to railroad those people. The dude is just a old school cartoonish villain of a terrible human being, and I would not wish playing for the Carolina Panthers. Free Bryce Young needs to be a hashtag. Like somebody's got to get that man out of there. Save that man from the Panthers. Get him off that team. I don't care about Bryce Young one way or the other. He didn't play for my college team, but I almost think it's a blessing in disguise to him to not have to play another snap. Hopefully, I hope that's the last snap he ever plays. I hope they trade him to another team, and I hope that man gets a chance to work with a competent organization. And actually has a chance to determine whether or not he can cut it as an NFL quarterback. Because I don't think you can say one way or the other right now. The Carolina Panthers are more incompetent than the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you know anything about the Jacksonville Jaguars organization, that's saying a whole heck of a lot. And I don't think you can make a decision on Bryce Young based on the fact that the Panthers are just awful.
Yeah, they're just terrible.
But then we talk about they had the opportunity to draft CJ. And then they went up and got Bryce. So, I mean, yeah, definitely organizational, just being ass and just being terrible, led by their owner, Dave Temper. He has to go, for that team to be successful because as long as he's there and he's making those dumb decisions, they fired the GM, they fired the head coach, they made several moves, and yet it's him. It's him.
Well, I'm glad you brought up C.J. Stroud because that's our next subject. C.J. Stroud has sold the most NFL jerseys. Are anybody surprised? No? Yeah, maybe.
You talking about worldwide or just in Houston alone?
Worldwide. Most NFL jerseys, period.
It's a bunch of bandwagon Texans fans that's doing it. So
there is. There is. Josh, you got anything?
No
I'm
comment.
surprised Houston fans took time out of whining about not having Oilers jerseys to buy CJ Stroud jerseys. That's all I'll say about it. You know,
Hey,
the Oilers.
at least you had a player with the most NFL jersey sales too. Tim Tebow was on that list, so I mean, at least you can brag about that. You know,
He was. That was
So,
crazy.
Listen, I am a Gator fan, and I curse the day that Tim Tebow joined the Jaguars. It's terrible.
And Urban Meyer,
Who?
and Urban Meyer,
He heard you.
I don't know who that is.
the one that would not be named.
I've never heard of her.
Well, you know what? Speaking of the one who'd not be named, let's talk about the Browns and Jaguars.
Ooh.
Get molested by the molester. Talk about that game.
Bleh. Bleh. Have you ever heard a fart set to music? Because that's basically the performance of the Jaguars put on. In the first half, the Browns' offensive line just manhandled the interior and pretty much every player except Josh Allen on that team. And I will say, I just want to point out very briefly that while Trayvon Walker was getting no pressure on the quarterback whatsoever, Aiden Hutchinson almost set the single game NFL record for sacks. The player that we should have drafted instead of Walker. Josh Hines-Allen had a decent game. The defensive line got manhandled. We're already banged up in the secondary 2 weeks into the season. The Brown, I don't know anything about the Browns. As far as their coaching staff, I didn't do a whole lot of research on it. But they seem to have figured out how to exploit the Jaguars being weak in the secondary and some of their defensive linemen not being very physical. And they all for except 3 or 4 minutes of the game, the Browns had the ball, right? But they didn't score that many points. It wasn't a disaster. The Jags get back into it. In the second half, the offense does a little bit better. But here's the main problem that we have. It's the entire offensive line. As I said before the show started, the offensive line, in particular, the interior, could not have stopped my grandma from sacking Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence did what a lot of quarterbacks do when they get put on their butt. He got happy feet, right? He sailed a couple of easy passes. He was out of rhythm. Any quarterback in the league, you put him on his butt enough, he's going to be out of rhythm. Like, that's how you affect an offense in the league. You get to the quarterback, right? And then they come, they're within a hair's breadth. They have the ball at the end of the game. And then what happens? They give up a safety. And they just poop the bed. And the problem is twofold. Not only does the offensive line suck, I don't think that Doug Peterson or Press Taylor understand how to design an offense that plays to the strength of their quarterback. I don't think they do. I don't think they understand what they're doing. We have Brian Thomas Jr., who has looked fabulous when we've actually thrown him the ball. And I think they threw him the ball 3 or 4 times. They targeted him 3 or 4 times throughout the game. This kid is torching cornerbacks. He's lighting up the league. He looks like he could be a star. And you look at the difference between him and the way that the Cardinals used Marvin Harrison Jr. on Sunday, and you see an offensive mind with the Cardinals. And I couldn't tell you who their offensive coordinator is, but the man understands the talent that he has at his disposal and designed an offense to play to those talents. And they went out and they had a pretty darn good game. The Jaguars did not do that. They don't seem to have an identity on offense. I don't know who was calling plays. Another big problem that they had is the plays were not getting into Trevor Lawrence until there was 7 seconds left on the play clock. Who was calling? How complicated is your playbook if you can't? You got 30, 40 seconds, depending on how long the play clock is, to get the call in. And Trevor Lawrence is visibly frustrated, threw the ball at one point, threw his helmet on the sideline. A lot of people didn't catch that. Because he's frustrated, and if I was him, I'd be frustrated too. You have a quarterback, you paid franchise quarterback money, and you have elite talent at certain positions on your offense, and you have no idea how to use it. And at this point, if the Jaguars announce tomorrow that they're firing Doug Peterson, I don't know how sad I am about it. I can see some of the blame lies with them. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they fix it. I don't know what they're going to do. As long as that offensive line sucks, the Jaguars are not going to be very good this year. There's just no. And if you look at both games, you held one team to 16 points, I think, in the Miami game, and then 20 points in the Browns game. Your defense is not failing you to the point where, like, if the offense was any sort of competent in those first two games, that you should not have had a chance to win. So, Jaguars suck. What can I say?
Yeah,
Water's wet, sky's blue. Jaguars are terrible at football.
like I told you and Samuel, like the only time I root for the Jaguars, y'all totally disappoint me. Like now I don't know how it feels to be a Jaguars fan. It's just disappointment. Disappointment.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. Only a fool would bet on the Jaguars to accomplish anything when you need them the most, right? So,
well, I think like if you're a decent human being, I think everybody was a Jaguars fan, right? Like it's whoever is playing the Browns, you're rooting for them. If you're not a Browns fan, right?
probably. I wonder if that's the case though. I wonder, outside of Houston fans, I wonder how many people really know that much or care that much about Deshaun Watson, right? Like, is it as much of a league-wide thing as we think it is, or is it? I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. I just I don't know. I root against the Browns fans because they literally, like, their team color is the color of poo. Like, if it's brown, flush it down. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And at one point, like, there was one year they were here and the whole stadium was chanting something like that. Like, if it's brown, flush it down, after the Jaguars actually won the game, I think. Shut up, Sam. Sam says, I'm sorry for getting stuck at work. See you on Monday. We don't care, Samuel. We know that we know that you are home watching Jalen Ramsey highlight videos. We know that you're not sorry. We do not accept your apology. So that's all. That's all I have to say. I don't know what to say else about the Jaguars. They were doing wonderfully until Travis Etienne fumbles that ball in the first game against Miami, and it's just like the wheels have fallen off the entire operation. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well, y'all are going to Buffalo next week. Y'all have a pretty good track record. What's your prediction, Josh?
Bills by 50.
Oh, okay. You're changing your tune, huh?
I'm just telling you, man. I don't know how. Will it be a 50-point win? I don't know. I don't know how you look at the Jaguars, how they've played. I also listened to some of the press conferences, and the media remarks. All I'll say is there seems to be already trouble brewing. Travis Etienne says after the game is the defense was balling and the defense is working hard, and on offense we need people who are hard workers instead of superstars, right? So somebody within the offense, there's somebody, they're not happy with somebody's work ethic or something. I don't know if they're talking about the offensive line. I think the Jags are going to go like 3-14 this year. Like that I'm telling you, I've seen this story before. It's a quarter century of me watching Jaguars football. I'm telling you, I've seen this one before. I know how it plays out. Realistically, to give you a realistic score, I think it's going to be like 28-14 Buffalo on Monday night. I don't see a way the Jags are able to figure it out.
I'm not trying to inflate myself, but I just say if Press Taylor still on his same play calling skills of last year, the Jaguars will be in fourth place with like 5-win record.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, they won't say who's calling the plays. Like, Doug Peterson refuses to answer the question. He's been asked every week at every press conference that I've watched, "Hey, Doug, who's calling the plays this week?" And he says, "Why does that matter? The offense is the same regardless of who calls the plays." He just refuses to answer it. He just will not. He will not answer it, and I don't. And then I just don't get it. I don't get it. He refuses to even consider getting rid of Press Taylor. Like, he said flat out, like, his fate and Press Taylor's fate are linked. And I don't know if Press Taylor has some sort of blackmail on this man. No one asked you, Michael Newsom. Michael Newsom says not too late for the Jags to trade Trevor Lawrence for Bryce Young. You can shut up, you mayo eater. Is what you can do. I still think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. If you're going to look at some of the throws that he has made, he did miss some guys, but he was on his butt half the game. That touchdown pass in the first game against the Dolphins to Brian Thomas Jr. was amazing. But I would be happy for Trevor Lawrence if he got traded away from the Jaguars because, again, just like Bryce Young, he might have a chance to go play for a competent organization. Because what I said from day one, go back and check the podcast episodes. I said one of three things is going to. There's three possibilities. Either Trevor Lawrence is actually good and he's going to show it. Trevor Lawrence, is overrated. Or the most likely scenario, and I've said this all along, is that the Jaguars were going to ruin Trevor Lawrence. And I think that is what's trending right now. The Jaguars are ruining and wasting Trevor Lawrence's career with their incompetence.
So real quick before I move to the next subject, Josh, real quick, if Jaguars don't have a winning season or close to a winning season, is Doug Peterson safe?
How do you keep him? How do you keep him at that point? The roster is too talented. Like there are good players on this team across the board, other than the offensive line. I don't know how you keep Doug Peterson at that point. And honestly, I don't know how you keep Trent Baalke. Like the GM, I think the GM's got to go. He sat here this whole offseason and literally dunked on fans and was talking about how smart he is and how he knows what he's doing. And bro did not address the offensive line at all. Like at all. So I think if they have a disastrous season, if they go like 7-9 or something, or 9-7 and miss the playoffs, I think everybody probably sticks around. But if they go 4 wins or less, I think Balky's gone, Peterson's gone. I think they clean house. I think you have to at that point because you're about to build this $1.5 billion stadium. You're about to jack prices up. They're going to double the ticket prices, if not more, over the course of the next 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know how you keep any of them. You gotta clean house and get and right the ship before that new stadium is ready to go.
Well, moving on to the next team, their head coach already talked about disappointment and failure of his quarterback. We got the Titans. Kendall, the Jets. Aaron Rodgers came in there and honestly, I thought you were going to pull it off, and Aaron Rodgers does the Aaron Rodgers things and pull out the victory. Tell me, how did that game go in your eyes? You're on me, bub.
Sorry about that. To me, I don't think Aaron Rodgers was like that Aaron Rodgers that we all know, like Green Bay. Like I don't think he really did anything spectacular, like to win the game. But I mean, of course, we shit the bed, and I honestly think if Will Levis doesn't do what he did in this game and doesn't do what he did in Chicago, we might actually be 2-0 because those were two turning points of both games. He had to fumble in the Jets game, and it just the whole momentum shifted, and like he did with Chicago. I mean, because you can't. The defense is playing good. The defense is, I think, we're like the best. I think I saw that we're the best in the league right now. As for right now, and I mean, you just can't. You can't do that. Like I mean, I think too. Everybody's saying that if you lose to Malik, or even if you lose to Green Bay, off of Will Levis' mistakes, go ahead and put in Mason Rudolph. Like, see what he can do. And I'm not. He's not the eye popping backup that you want to see, get in the game. But to me, I feel like, any veteran quarterback is going to be better than a young quarterback because he knows where to get the ball to. You have all these weapons on offense around wide receivers, and you're just not, like you can't just give him the ball. But I think, too, play calling was okay. Offensive line is better than last year, but I still think it's not, what we expected. Um, I I'm skeptical about the Packers game. It's a toss up for me. I don't know if we're just gonna win or lose. At this point I don't know. It just depends on how Levis plays. Um, that's all I really got. I'm kind of like Josh. We're not. I don't see us winning a lot of games this year based on how the year is going right now. And you know, the offseason looked promising, and you get all these acquisitions and spend a lot of money, but you know, you just gotta on paper, you just gotta, you know, you gotta do the best thing ever. I mean, and you know, the turnovers are a big problem too. He throws a lot of turnovers. You know, I think he has like five turnovers in like 2 games, his last 2 games, and I'm like, look, that can't happen. Like they can't happen.
Well, here's a question for you from Michael. You say if Levis has no turnovers, Titans win, and they score 30 plus points in the first time since 2001 or 21. Do you think Levis wins the fans back, or is it too late?
Uh, I don't think it's too late, but I think that he'll have to be consistent throughout. Like if we win this game by 30, doesn't throw turnovers, I mean, and we look like this is the team that we should have been the last 2 weeks. Keep doing that. Like, you know, and I'm a person of, you know, okay, you won the game, go do it again. Don't win this week and the next week go throw for 2 interceptions or whatever. And, you know, so um I think he would have to play maybe a few more games after this game in order to win the fans back because, you know, just to have that consistency. In my eyes, no, he wouldn't win me back because I'd have to see more, but that it would be a step. It would be a big step, you know. Calvin really had a good game. He had 2 touchdowns, so you know, he's you know contributed and got to get DeAndre Hopkins back. It's just a question mark, you know. It's like you have all these pieces and you just don't know what you have. And I get that, you know, everything is new. The offensive coordinator is new, coaches new, everything is new, and you know they might not have had time to really gel yet, so. It might be maybe week 4, week 5, week 6 before we actually start seeing them actually be good.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion on everything right now.
Well, you know, I am a fan of Will Levis, and I think Josh will too. After seeing what I got, he has made some great memes like this one. Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. Like, this is great. And I didn't know did y'all know that he made a special appearance on um, Fresh Prince of Bel Air? Like, bro,
That was me. I posted that one.
you know, like it's great. Like
It's amazing.
it's great. Right. Like I appreciate Will Levis. Not only because of those memes, but the Mayo cologne. Like,
Yeah, I know somebody leaked his number.
yeah, so yeah, you got his phone number leaked. That's terrible though. Like, I get it, you're a fan, you're angry, but you really gonna death threat the guy because he's losing the football game? Like, come
Yeah,
on,
Dumb.
be a better human being. Like
yeah.
at the end of the day, is it really causing you any harm that he's losing the game? No.
Nah. And
He
that's
just
another thing too. I feel like, you know, okay, how is that gonna affect you mentally, you know, knowing that you have people that's really actually trusting you. Like I wonder how that really took a toll on him mentally. Like, you know, is he gonna go in the game? Because that's tough to deal with. You know, you're getting probably 100 plus text messages saying, "Hey, you suck," or "Start taking a sack," or you know, this, that, and the third. So, uh, I know me, I probably would have to go crazy. Like I don't know.
well,
So
and
it's just a lot of stuff.
being a quarterback is a mental game, right? Like, if you're
Yeah.
mental, if you're not there mentally, it's going to be downhill. So fans doing that is not helping the guy at all. Like, do better with your life. Like,
The
Yeah,
coach ain't
and
helping either
you
though.
know, it's one of those things too. If you saw these pansies sending death threats to Will Levis's leaked number, and you saw him walking down the street, you would either say nothing to him or you'd go up to him and ask for his autograph.
It's
Or
scary, yeah.
you friggin' text message tough guys. Shut up,
yeah,
shut up.
keyboard warriors. That's all it is.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I tell you what, text message me. My number is 904-673-0091. Let me know, idiots.
Mine's 281.
Josh, you been thirsty, man.
I'm not being thirsty. I'm like, listen, bro, I'm probably less nice to you. I'm gonna be less nice to you than Will Levis would have been to you when he sent you messages. So,
I did have a problem with the coach though, asking him what the fuck he was doing. That I didn't think that was appropriate. I didn't think that
yeah.
was.
And the last thing I will say too before I forget, if and this I think this is gonna be like a deal breaker. You know, he just got rid of Malik. He goes to Green Bay. If you lose to Malik That's gonna be like embarrassing. Like that's just something that I just would be like, how do you lose to Malik and you just got rid of the man? And because I honestly would have kept him. I would have kept three quarterbacks. You know, I didn't agree with getting rid of him, but that's just gonna be bad. If Levis can't beat, Malik Willis, like that's gonna be bad. Like, and then you're on
I'm
3, and then
sorry,
you really
Kendall. I'm
have
gonna
to.
laugh. I'm gonna laugh so hard.
Oh, I don't. Y'all have look. Y'all can laugh as hard as I might laugh myself because that's just crazy. Like that's just crazy.
And I wonder if Malik Willis like talked to the coaches and wanted like a fresh start somewhere else, right? Like you've been there so
Yeah,
long, you're clearly not getting a shot to be the starter. Maybe they had a conversation with him and like, we can keep you here, but do you want to go somewhere else? Like, do you want to see if you have a chance to start somewhere else? So I don't know. You never know, and that's just speculation. I have no idea. But I always wonder.
yeah.
Speaking of Malik Willis and the Packers, what's your prediction of next week? What's your score?
I'll probably go 24-20 Packers.
Oh, okay. Well, wow, we got two people. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's gonna be close, but I feel like in my mind, I feel like Liv is gonna mess up again and cost the game. So I feel like that. So
Yeah.
prove me wrong, but
All right. Well, to the last 0-2 team, we got the Colts. Josh?
We bad at 0-2. We bad at 0-2.
I'm sorry. To the barely 0-2 team, we got the Colts. Is that better?
Yes, but it won't help our rushing defense, which I'm going to start with. It's the same as week 2. We came in the game knowing after playing the Texans, who surprised us with the run game with Joe Mixon. I thought, I'm not saying he was cooked or he was washed up. I didn't think he had in him to do that week 1, and he torched us. You guys didn't stop until at the end where you threw the ball to Nico Collins to win the game, to seal the game. And then going into week 2, you're going into a team where they didn't have the confidence in their backup. So you knew they was going to run the ball. And he got a talented running back. He's an all-pro, Pro Bowler running back. They just paid. They picked up in the offseason. You knew that they was going to run the ball. That's what they're going to do. They're going to line up and run the ball, and we still couldn't stop them. Josh Jacobs he had 32 attempts in the run game. Malik, I know everybody say we lost to Malik, but he did just enough to get the chains moving. He did just enough to get the chains moving and then run the ball again. That's what you want for a quarterback that don't really have the confidence as a starter. He got traded from a team where he thought he was next guy up after Tannehill, but they went a different direction. But our defense can't stop the run. They cannot stop the run. I don't know what it is, but I know this past couple of days they've been learning to tackle. The DBs, the linebackers, all been tackling in their practice. Hopefully that works on Sunday, but right now I'm not confident in it because they can't stop. Mixon good too. I don't want to talk bad about Mixon. He is good, but they didn't stop Mixon, and they didn't stop Josh Jacobs. So I mean, now you got another guy coming in, and Swift, who's talented as well. It can run, both run and catch out of the backfield. So I'm worried. He might get. Hopefully we keep him under 300, as I said the other day. Hopefully we keep him under 300. But on our offense, we got to do better. We got to get our guy who we paid in the offseason, Michael Pittman. Got to give him the ball. I know we've been, kind of featuring Alec Pierce in the offense, and it's worked well in week 1, but week 2, it caused our young quarterback to turn the ball over, trying to force it to Alec Pierce, especially 3 times. Well, the last one was 9 seconds ago, but yeah, three interceptions. He got to take care of the ball. I know a stat came out say he had like 49% completion percentage, which is bad. I got to get that up. But a lot of fans, I've seen a lot of fans from, my fan base saying that he's a bust because he did that. He turned the ball over. But the offense wasn't simplified for him. Because we see you've seen JT have a good game with 12 carries and had 100 yards. But our quarterback seemed like he was just rushed, throwing the ball, lobbing the ball over to Alec Pierce, where he got picked out by Xavier McKinney. Some other bad mistakes where he tried to force it to Michael Pittman, it seemed like the offense was out of sync outside of the run game. It seemed like we couldn't get nothing going. No receiver could getting in separation. Didn't use our tight ends much. Actually, on 3rd and 2, our coach took out our best running back, and put in Trey Sermon. We got negative yardage, which caused us to have to punt the ball. It just seemed like we had a sync on offense and on defense. It's just we're not stopping the run. We're not lining up with other guys and say, "Hey, we're going to stop you." It seemed like we just having a lot of issues within the first 2 weeks. And I don't know when it's going to stop. Hopefully, it stop come Sunday. But it seemed like it's an issue that we're having, and we're going to continue to have it because our coach says that he feel confident in Gus Bradley. And I know Josh and others have told me that we don't want to trust Gus Bradley. And I thought we have somebody to replace Eberflus, but having Gus Bradley right now for the past couple of seasons has been a nightmare. It's been it's an issue. We can't pass rush. We can't stop the run. Our secondary is bad at times. It's just like we can't get it to get everything to work all together. Can't get the pass rush to work together with the rush defense. Can't get the secondary to work with the other two facets of the game. It's been an issue right now.
Okay. Well, going from Malik Willis to painting fingernails, Caleb Williams, what is your predictions for next week?
For that game, I'm worried. I'm just like Kendall and Josh. I'm worried about this game. We've seen how they beat Tennessee. They beat, but they lost you guys. But they had an opportunity to beat you guys. They're good. A good sign on defense, but offense, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Keelan Allen going to play. I'm not sure if Romney's going to play. But he's going to run. He's going to pass that ball. Caleb will. He's going to do enough. But I am looking at us to win the game because it is a home game. I see us winning. While Matt Gay, we paid him all that money last year. Paid him 23 something, top 5. He's top 5 and paid kicker. I am projecting that he kicks her a game winner, making it 23-20.
Okay. Hey, I respect it. We couldn't have all y'all going on 3, right? I mean, that would be fun.
No, it can't
I
be.
like to change up.
In the words of Josh Senior, barely.
Barely.
Yeah, barely.
Barely. Yeah, you got you. Well, speaking of the division champs, I'm not Sam. I'm not unbiased host. I am a biased host. And the Texans look good on defense. 37 snaps. We got the pressure 36 times. 17 became between Hunter and Anderson. So that duo is already feeding families. Stingley with the interception. Laster with the interception. So our lockdown corners are getting the interceptions like you need. But the thing that drives me nuts is, I love D'Amico Ryans. I love him to death. But this whole old school mentality, like where you got to run the clock. He's playing the clock instead of playing the game. You can't do that. You can't do that against Kansas City. You can't do that against Baltimore. You can't do that against Buffalo because they're going to beat you. And Indianapolis almost beat us. They almost came back and won. The Bears almost came back and won. Like, you can't do that. Like, Bobby Sugg looks good in the first half, goes and gets up the lead, and then all of a sudden it's time to kill the clock. You just can't do that. And another guy I'm disappointed in is Laramie Tunzel. How are you a top 5 left tackle, but get 2 false starts every game? Like, they got to make a rule. Like, every time he gets a false start, that's $5 million deducted out of your contract. Like, this is crazy, bro. We had 12 penalties for 115 yards
On Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah.
Ooh.
We had 4 false starts. 2 of them came from Tunzel. Like, bro, I don't. And then with Chris Boyd on special teams, he gets called for holding 2 times. Like, why is he still in the game? He's a special teamer. He's an NFL player. He made a team. I get it, but he's a nobody. Like, he's not going to affect anybody if he's not out there. Put him out on the bench. Like, what are you doing? I don't get it. And last year I had an interception, but guess what? It got called back for another penalty. Like, if you want to beat the elite teams, such as Kansas City, Buffalo, you got You got to stop the penalties. You
can't make dumb mental mistakes like that against the good teams, right? Like,
well, I'm going to ask y'all a question. Out of those 12 penalties, how many do you think was on third down?
Probably all of them seem like
8. I'll say 8.
I'll say about 5.
There are 8. 8 third down penalties. Like
drive killer.
What? Yes. Yeah. So
at least he didn't get a delay a game.
That's the only penalty we didn't get. We got every other penalty. Like, is this? Like I said, those type of mistakes. Josh, I mean, firsthand. Josh Allen, or was it Josh Allen? Or was it Walker? Cost y'all a game against the Texans because he made a stupid penalty.
That was Bone. People call him Trayvon, but his mama calls him Bonehead. So that's what I'm gonna call him, Bonehead Walker. He just shoved. He shoved. I think it was Davis Mills. I don't know if Davis Mills or Stroud. I think it was the year before you guys drafted Stroud. So
one of those many quarterbacks that we went through. Yeah,
and it was just one of these little stupid, unnecessary. The ball's been out of the quarterback's hands for 3 seconds, and he just comes up and shoves him to the ground to show how macho he is.
I hate those dumbass penalties. I hate those.
Yeah, it seemed like the Alzi style here. I hope I'm not murdering his name.
Like linebacker.
He hit. Yeah, he hit Williams out of bounds, which was a clean hit. But when he got up, he punched the running back who was not even in the play. Like, punch him in the face. Like, bro, if a referee saw that, that's
he's very lucky he didn't get booted from the game.
Exactly. Yeah, he got fined today for $100,000. But still, like, bro, you can't be making plays like that. That's going to cost you the game.
What was his reason? I'm sure they talked to him. What is his reason for that? Just doing it because he want to just be I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy.
He was tangled up with the guy out of bounds, and they were jawing at each other. And I don't remember if the dude pushed him first or what it was, but it was just one of those things. It looked like he lost his temper and just sort of reacted to whatever the dude had said or had done to him. But you're at the highest level of your profession. You get paid too much money. Your job is to not react that way. One of your jobs is to not react that way. Like, you can't, like, even if he had shoved him, like, nobody would have cared. But like, it was straight up, took his fist, and it's also, stupid because the guy's wearing a helmet. You moron! You gonna punch him through the helmet? Like, what are you doing? Like,
it's a lot better when Trent Williams hit Richard Sherman with no helmet on. That's what you do.
Or what was it? Aaron Donald? Who was the one that took the helmet? Was it Aaron Donald that took the helmet? Took the other dude. Miles Garrett took the other dude's helmet and tried to
Mason Rudolph. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna do it correctly, is what I'm saying.
Way, yeah.
If you're gonna cheat properly.
And like, my thing too is Joe Mixon got tackled with that hit drop tackle that's supposed to be stopped. The NFL stopping it. They're going to get rid of it. But he gets hip tackle and he gets injured. So, like, what we
the way that the league is going to get the hip drop tackle out is they're going to make big fines like they're doing for like punches thrown. If a dude gets a $150,000 fine every time he drops a hip on somebody, those you watch, those defenders will figure out real quick how to tackle.
What's going to happen is they're going to put little yellow flags on their belts. And
no, I agree.
Well, I mean,
they should do it with Tua though.
Bro,
they need to make Tua wear one of them Guardian caps. If those Guardian caps actually work, like, they need to mandate that he has to wear one.
It's just, I think we are a good team. I really do. I really think we got the, like Josh said, we got the weapons. Like, I think we got the coaching.
But man, shut up. Your team is good. Don't give me this.
No, it is.
Your team's the only team in the division right now that's good. Like,
I am saying we're good.
Bro, strut and talk about your team. Like, you should be dunking on all three of us right now because your team is excellent and our teams are doo-doo. They are just straight doo-doo.
For real though, am I not truthful? If you keep doing those mistakes, you're not going to get beat. You're going to beat the.
Yeah, but it's also week 2, and I think this is a theory a friend of mine has. The first 4 weeks of the season are completely unpredictable.
Right.
Almost completely unpredictable. Anybody can beat anybody in the league, but even more so in the first 4 weeks. 4 weeks in, when you go into that week 5 game, every team you play has at least 4 weeks worth of tape on your scheme and what you're doing and how you use your players. And then you start to get into some of these deeper injuries, and teams are getting decimated by injuries. Week 5, things start to get a little more predictable. And if you can be figured out, the team, if you're playing a team that's decent at all, they're going to figure you out. I think the good teams do exactly what the Texans are doing, and they're winning even when they're making mistakes, right?
Yeah, I said on Texas Fan Battle, week 5, we should be at the real, because I don't know why stupid Texans fans are saying, "Oh, well, we need to get rid of Bobby Slowick. He's holding CJ Stroud back." Like
they said last year too, though. They said this year last year.
Chill. Yeah, and he won Rookie of the Year. Like he had over 30 touchdowns and
if you think Bobby Slowick's a bad offensive coordinator, you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like
now, it's fair to say, like you said earlier, that they're not fully in a rhythm like they were last year. But also, it's freaking week 2. It's week 2.
I don't think it's that we're not in a rhythm. I really think it's D'Amico Ryan's coaching scheme. It's not coaching scheme, but it's philosophy.
But that's kind of how the league's starting to trend, though, right? The league goes in; it's like a pendulum. It swings one way or the other, and it's swinging back towards more ground and pound, ball control, clock control.
Yeah, well, I can see that.
That's what the Browns did to the Jaguars in the first half. It was ground and pound, dink and dunk, these little passes. They were using quick passes to defeat the pressure that
every team doing that.
So it's that's what Miami did to the Jaguars. The Jaguars were able to be a little more aggressive and beat them. The Jaguars beat the Dolphins in every aspect of the game, but the scoreboard, because of a couple of dumb plays and just some.
I think they don't want to see any more blowouts. They don't want to see any more blowouts. They want to see.
But the crazy thing is we were against the Colts. We were on the field for 40 minutes. And we still almost lost the game. Like, bro, like I get that. I get that philosophy, but against the Chiefs, you're going to lose. Like against the team that has a high power offense,
you're putting a lot of pressure on your defense in that scenario. To assume that the defense is going to be able to go 3 and out when you're playing a team like the Chiefs or other high powered offenses. I get what you're saying. You want to put your foot on the gas a little more. You have to. You have to, because if you do that against the Chiefs or somebody, your defense is going to get tired, and the scores is going. It's going to go. We're going to have 2019 flashbacks. The Chiefs are going to run out of fireworks. Like, they're going to score so many touchdowns. Like, you just can't be doing that. Yeah, so, the Chiefs look like they figured out their offensive problems. Other than Travis Kelce's having, people are saying he's not doing as well, but also it's week 2, so it's really hard to tell. But just offensively, the Chiefs don't look like they've missed a beat at all. So,
I mean, it does help.
Go ahead.
I said, it don't help them getting another receiver, and then you got Rice work. He's catching passes. You got the weapons. You don't have to have Kelce right now. Kelce can come in week 5, week 6, week 7, where it's more scary because now you got everybody in the fold. So I don't want them to repeat. So
that's what I think people are seeing. Travis Kelce is not making as many big plays because he just doesn't have to. There's other players on that offense right now for Kansas City that are making the plays that need to be played.
Put the game on the line. Put the game on the line, or a big third down that he needs to convert. Travis Kelce's getting the ball. I mean, it's guaranteed. So, but
it's Sheriff Kelce.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You mean Mr. Swift? Sorry.
Well, he got the mustache, and he kind of shaved the beard. Now he got a mustache.
Yeah, Officer Kelce.
right. Well, moving on.
He looks like an undercover cop that shows up. He's like, "Hey, anybody got any marijuana? You guys like to smoke marijuana? I love marijuana."
I'm gonna start calling him Travis Fargo off of Super Troopers.
I'll take a liter cola. It's for a cop. Yeah.
We go to Minnesota next week. I am a little worried because suddenly Sam Darnold has figured out how to play quarterback, and he's looking pretty good. But he did play the Giants week 1, and the Niners to me don't seem like to be on the rhythm. So I'm not saying we're going to beat them, but I think it's going to be a close game. The Vikings have 11 sacks. We have 9 sacks total. So I think it's going to be a sack heavy game. Justin Jefferson is hurt. So, I mean, I don't wish injury on nobody, But Justin Jefferson, if you cannot play this game, I would appreciate it. Like, you would have a new fan in Matthew Briggs if you miss this game. Like, I'm scared of the dude. But I think it's going to be a close game. I got the Texans 17-16. I just cannot, I got to keep it going. I'm a stupid sports guy where everything has to be the same. So I picked the Texans to win the last 2 games. So I'm going to keep it riding. Texans are going to be 3-0. So hopefully they don't let me down like they have in the past. So, but all right, fellas. Well, anything else need to be said before we hop off here? I know Josh is over there yawning his old ass.
Sorry.
Damn.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, I know. I feel it too.
Long day.
All right. Well, in the wise words of my boy Crenshaw, this is the worst part of the show because it's the end. Josh Senior, why don't you tell everybody where we can find you on social media and what you got cooking? That way we can support you.
You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. At Who Is Josh Senior, and you can catch the podcast on Tuesdays at 9:30 Eastern Time. Follow us at Horseshoe_Mob.
Okay. And Kendall, what about you? Where we can find you and what you got cooking?
Follow me on X at introvert_K, and that's about it.
All right. And Josh, where we can find you at, bro?
I mean, I'm on Facebook, but also Twitter at Josh Gives Up. And on Sundays, I'm sitting on my couch being sad, watching the Jaguars play. So,
And of course, you can find me at A1 Day One Texans everywhere. And on Wednesday night, you can find me at Texans Fan Battle with Crenshaw and the boys, where we, chop it up and have a good time. And then you can follow Samuel. The transitioning is real. It's fine and complete. You can find her at Sammy Football with an I. Make sure you do that and flood her with a whole bunch of pictures of Jalen Ramsey. She would love that. So you would be her biggest fan if you send her a picture of Jalen Ramsey. And follow the podcast at AFC SFB. And we got merch, so check out at the website, fanbattlesports.com. Till then, have a wonderful week, and I hope all y'all lose. See y'all later.
Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.